The final episode of Black Clover aired just a few days ago, and while I am sad that it's over, I'm also excited for what I think the future of the series is going to be. But before I get into talking about the future of Black Clover, I want to discuss what happens in the last episode. So in the episode, it has Asta training to get control over his devil, so he can use the devil's powers fully whenever he wants. And we also got to take a look back at the devil's past, whose name we learn is Libe, and it turns out he didn't have any magic at all, just like Asta did. And because of this, he was bullied by the other devils, but he was also able to get out of hell because of that. When one of the devils is beating him up, they pick him up and go to throw him at the barrier that's keeping all the devils in, thinking that he's going to hit the top of the thing and just fall right back down. But because he has no magic, he goes straight through all the barriers and ends up in the human world. And eventually he meets a girl named Richita, I could be mispronouncing her name, who turns out to be Asta's mom, and she ends up adopting him because her magic made it so it would steal the mana of anyone around her, a lot like the guy in, I think his name is Henry, who controls the Black Bull's base. I think his powers are exactly the same, except she can like seal people inside of things or put them inside of objects or something like that. But anyway, she drains the power or the magic of everyone around her unintentionally. But since he doesn't have any magic, there's no mana to steal, so she can actually be around him. And from what it looked like, she abandoned Asta because she didn't want to steal his magic and make him weaker. Although as Asta grows up, it turns out he never had any magic to begin with, so she didn't really need to abandon him because there was no magic to steal from him, but she had no idea. So that's why she took in this devil to try again and try not to abandon him this time and actually take care of him, which is really sad. But Richta eventually ends up dying to protect Libe from Lucifero, who finds out that there's a devil in the human world and he's trying to take him back, but she drains his magic and he lets go of Libe, but before he does, he stabs a hole through her chest. And then before Richta dies, she ends up sealing Libe inside of the 5-leaf grimoire that she happened to find, and then that grimoire eventually ends up going to Asta. Then it cuts back to Asta and Libe fighting, and it was a really good fight. Asta, while dodging all the swords that Libe is throwing at him, ends up grabbing Yami's sword and manages to break it away from him or get rid of the devil powers so he could just use it as a regular sword. And while he's using it, you see him do different moves that previous people he fought or trained with did. So you'll see like behind him, the guy from the water temple, I forgot his name, pops up behind him because he helped Asta train, I think. And it showed that he was doing a move that he did, and then he does it with a bunch of other people that he learned from, and at the very end he has Yami right behind him and he does the same attack he does with the sword and he beats him. Or he doesn't beat him with that, he goes to hit him and then you see everyone behind him and he beats him that way. And when the first Black Clover opening starts playing during the fight, I was so hyped, but I was also really sad because this is supposed to be the last episode, so hearing that very first opening again, I was just like, oh man, but it was also a really good fight and I was really hyped up about it. Honestly, I really like the way that they ended this episode. The ending music starts playing and Asta and Libe end up becoming friends. So instead of forming like a contract where Asta has full control over him, he forms an equal contract so they're friends, and Libe technically doesn't have to do anything that Asta says and could go off and do whatever he wants now, but they decide to team up to beat the devils. It then goes around to every other character that's been in the series and is showing what they're doing. Most of them are training for the fight with the devils or the Spade Kingdom, and then you see it looks like he's going to train with I cannot remember his name, Langris, I think is his name, the guy who uses the spatial magic, who's Finral's brother. It looks like they're going to train and he's going to help him get stronger. And then it cuts back to Asta and it ends with showing him lift up Yami's katana to the camera, and that's it. It ends. It was such a great episode and I really loved it. Now, I don't think that this is the end of the Black Clover anime. So a few days ago, or a week ago now, we got an announcement that Black Clover would be getting a movie, and I at first thought that this is going to be how they're going to wrap up the series. They're going to have a movie, and then the anime is going to end, and maybe the manga will continue and the anime will have its own ending or whatever. But now I don't think that that's the case. I believe that the people that are working on Black Clover wanted it to be seasonal, or wanted to go seasonal, like how My Hero is. How My Hero will have 25 episodes a year, basically, like season 5 just started, it'll probably have 25 episodes, and then end, and then season 6 will probably come back next year. I think that's what they wanted to have for Black Clover, as opposed to long running. I also think that they want to wait so the manga can have more chapters, that way they'll have more material to work with, and maybe don't have to throw in as many fillers while waiting for the manga. They can let it continue on and then come back another time, and then be able to do it and just follow the story. So what I think is happening is that this was the last episode of Black Clover, but I think it's going to come back in the future with a new name. And I think when it comes back, it'll end up being seasonal, and if they wait a long time, the manga will have plenty of chapters that they can adapt. I think this will also make the movie be more successful, because Black Clover anime fans will want new content, and the only new anime content will be the movie, so I could see a lot more fans wanting to go see it, because this is like the first time they've seen Black Clover in however many months or however long it takes for it to come out. And the reason that I think they'll change the name is so that they don't lie, because they said this will be the final episode of Black Clover, but they never said it'll be the final episode of Black Clover Shippuden, or whatever they decide to call it. While this is all just speculation and nothing has been confirmed, I wouldn't be surprised if in a few years Black Clover comes back with a new name, like Black Clover something. They'll probably just add something to the end of it, I would assume. I don't think they'll change the name completely. Now, I've seen some people hoping that if it ever comes back, it's long running, but I've also seen people hoping that when it comes back, it will be seasonal. And in my opinion, I think it'll be good if it does go seasonal. One of the main reasons why is because it'll give the staff more time to work on it, and with how overworked and underpaid they are, having more time to work on your thing and not be nearly as pressured to have a new episode out every week of the year, I think that'll be a good thing for the staff that's working on it. The animation will also most likely look a lot better because there's more time that they can put into it, and they don't have to have an episode out every single week, and they can have some time to work on it beforehand. So who knows what's actually going to happen with Black Clover. I'm very curious to see what happens, but I'm also interested to see what you guys think. Did you like the last episode? Do you think that if it comes back, it'll be seasonal or long running? Or do you think it's not going to come back at all and just end right here and just have a movie to end it? What do you guys think? I would love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to subscribe. It helps me out more than you know, and I would really appreciate it. So anyways, I'll see you guys next time with my next video. Bye.